Now we played this dress down shadow deck with Moonshadow deck with Moonshadow pretty recently. We did pretty well with it also. The idea was that dress down can make your Moonshadow come down as a 7/7, can make your Death Shadow in play at 13/13. And this was one of the first shells I thought we would try the Wondrous Wasp in. Since Wondrous Wasp you can go attack with your Death Shadow, and then in combat you can go Wasp your Death Shadow and make it a 13/13. And in addition to it, it's like also a good removal spell. Wasp has just been very good in general. Wasp has been a card that's been impressive, been liking a lot. Actually looking at this, I think I'm gonna play Drown over Sheoldred's Edict in the main. I'm gonna mess with. I looked at it. I looked at the deck this morning, but I don't know if I want to be sideboarding the Edicts or not. We did play against Leyline Scion. Don't think there's a ton of it though. But like the Edicts are also important for Kappas. But maybe I can go like Dress Down plus Wasp Kappa. It doesn't make that much sense. I think I can do. Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay. This is also kind of a better Drown deck with the Thoughtseizes, I think. But yeah, it's like but Wasp was just played so well that I'm excited to play it in this show. And I'm also playing a couple Dress Down still because I think Dress Down Moonshadow is pretty good, and Dress Down's like a fine card overall. And Zopper has become a mod too. A lot going on. So if we had any blue land, we'd be able to flip Tamiyo turn 1. Tamiyos are pretty good with the Wraiths and the Baubles. Haven't always played them in the shell, but I've grown to like them. Guess I'll put back the Cling. Spike, do you think there's a reason Heliod Ballista hasn't cropped back up? I guess maybe you haven't been as in tune with things over here, which that's okay. Oh, that's always happening. But I've got second in challenge with Heliod in my deck this year. But it's mostly like Cauldron Leo. Cauldron Ballista the Leo is better than the Heliod combo stuff, but you can still play one Heliod. Or yeah, I don't think you ever play two anymore. Is a short answer. Did you not like the Riddler and the Dimir version? You say the Dimir version. We're playing a new Dimir deck. We were just playing a Dimir deck. I don't like Riddler. I think is kind of obviously not good in Shadow. I don't know which deck you're talking about. If you're talking about this one or the other one. I take one of my 2 Fatal Pushes. I think I'll probably just play Dress Down end of turn here. Obviously, we bottomed the Cling to Dust. We're playing against Gorios. Mint the Dimir Nameless. Yeah, I don't like Frog plus Riddler is good. It's not like so good you need to warp your deck for it. And I feel really good about the quantity of card advantage in the deck. And the quantity of creatures. You could play some number and it would be totally fine, of course. So they play the Frog. Maybe they have Atraxa Gorios. Or just Atraxa. Okay, no Atraxa. Maybe they have another Frog. Seems fine with the other fetch land in my hand. Corey B's been hyped about Riddler and Shadow. Seems kind of off plan. I mean, it's good with the Frog draws. We're not even playing Frog, though. I know they have an Ephemerate, but they know I have a Stubborn Denial. They still just... I mean, yeah, they're not sandbagging a land here. Weird game. I do think we're in bad shape. Mev with the Twitch Prime. Thank you. Welcome back. Drown's going to be fine here. So the hand is Ephemerate and 4 mystery cards. They have a Riddler in the Warp Zone. So they had a frog last turn. They chose to play Riddler instead. It's good news for me, I guess. We see much blue-white energy. I played against it like yesterday. My opponent played really bad. I was kind of disappointed because I wanted to see how good it would be in this meta. My deck is like currently really bad too, because like I just all my 1-mana threats are not good right now. I guess Cling to Dust would be a really good draw. Like the Tamiyos are never. Maybe I can protect a Tamiyo. Namor plus Pride and Blue-White Energy. There's no way Namor can be good in Blue-White Energy. You don't play like almost any cards that trigger it. They keep a card on top, which I would guess would be a land most of the time. I suppose I'm letting this resolve. It's a little awkward because they just have another one in Warp we're going to lose eventually. But I can also probably stub or pierce an Ephemerate. Did you ever try the Mindstone and Blue-White Energy? We haven't done it. It's how much is it to harness? Is it 5? Is it 6? They keep a card on top. 6 plus tap. I mean, it's a lot, but I do like that you can just play it and you can play Guide or Pride. I'll say that, like, hey, Spikelings, today we're playing Blue-White Energy and we have 1 copy of the Mind Stone. It's not a very exciting stream. Guess the Wasp was good against the Frog here. Sequencing. Okay, well, I guess that would work on you guys. One copy of the Mind Stone. Is there other tech we could play? I guess it's been a while since we updated Quantum Energy. I mean, the last card's a spell. They can't discard it to Frog. Okay. Things are not as good as they look, though, because my opponent has 2 Riddlers in the Warp Zone. Yeah, Wasp could be an okay Quantum Energy card. Loki, maybe. Yeah, it could be a between rounds deck. My opponent's mending with no cards in their hand instead of casting a Quantum Riddler from Warp. I guess let's hope they forgot about him. I don't know how they could have. Do you expect Loki to make a splash at the PT? I don't know. Like, I haven't tested Loki in Quantum Energy. That seems like it could be a good shell for it. And like I think that's likely to be a PT deck. I don't know that anybody's gonna play like one of the Loki decks that we've played. Super lucky opponent didn't play around Drown. That's like a hard line to do. Like just exile your whole yard in response to Wasp. So they're just gonna mill 2, gain 2 again. See if they find a Traxa. Do you think Trudge will be represented PT? I don't know. I haven't had anybody like text me and tell me they're playing it. They just got Ending, Riddler, 2 really good cards here. They play another Frog. Okay, I think I have to drown this. Since it turns off my drown. Yeah, no one's like messaged me and said that they're playing it. I know that if I was queued for the PT, I would be testing it a lot. That doesn't mean that I'd end up playing it, but... Okay, now notably, my opponent is at 13, so if I draw another Wasp, or if I draw a Dress Down, I can present Lethal with the Shadow. I guess they'd be able to be at 11. Yeah, it does kind of feel like they forgot about their Warped Riddlers. Mindstone's been amazing me for other formats with Cryogen Relic. Maybe it fits in your Fiddlebender deck. I don't even know what Cryogen Relic is. So drew a Swamp off the Riddler. Best draw is Dress Down. How much Brewer bias, your thing over the best thing, would I have if I suddenly queued? I don't feel like I've ever had Brewer bias at a PT before. I always feel like I try to play the best deck and I try to like play everything a bunch and work with the testing team. maybe it affected. I'd say it affected me. I remember there was one arena PT where I did break historic with this Bant brew. I had an excellent historic record, and then my standard record was really bad because I broke historic. I had a great record with it. I played this Bant Tails in deck. Tails in was insane in the format. Scammed your own Uro, scammed your Lotus Field. Um, but uh, but I spent too long also trying to break what they're attacking. So if I take five, these become 7/7s. They have to block one. If I take five, I go to 6, and I can take another hit. Okay. Um. So I spent too long trying to break standard. Like I broke historic, and I couldn't do it. So of course you can't just break a format on will. Um. And I ended up just kind of defaulting to green red adventures, and not only I had some like kind of okay tech. I remember Kai Buddha, rest in peace to the goat. He messaged me that he liked my tech when we played against each other, but I spent too long and I didn't like master the deck, and I got really punished for it. So it was more I broke it bias than brewer bias. It was I don't know, it was weird. Like I spent too long trying to brew that I didn't like spend enough time testing the other decks, and I just defaulted. I cannot believe we won that game. My opponent played not so good, unfortunately for them. Fortunately for me, I'm gonna bring in a couple Nihil Spellbombs. So I think we'll bring in this 2 snares as well. Wondrous Wasp pretty good against Psychic Frog. I think that these drowns are going to be very online against this opponent. I want at least one Consign for Solitude triggers. We also have Dress Down, a couple of those. Probably 2 is okay. Probably 2 is okay. I think I'm going to go down 1 copy of Fatal Push. I think the stubs are also like a little tough. They have so much removal, it's kind of hard to keep them online. They do protector stuff though. I think the pierces are just going to be better. I don't think we need this many of this effect. So I'm going to keep in the clings. I'm going to keep in the drowns. Maybe I go down 1 wasp. And then maybe 2 baubles. Maybe going down 2 baubles is too few enablers for Moonshadow. Maybe okay, I'm gonna play just 1 Consign and just try to play around Solitude. Okay, I mean I'm gonna keep this, I guess. Let's put back second Nihil Spellbomb. Okay, I'm gonna keep this. This flow state maybe fit this deck better than Tamiyo. Guess we can take a look. I mean, you only have 4 sorceries. It's just way too few. You'd have to really change a lot about the deck. Okay, I'll keep a Delta. Requires some of Lorien. I mean, I really don't want to play Lord revealed in my Death Shadow deck. Death Shadow, Moonshadow deck. I think Tamiyo's also pretty good. Tamiyo flips really easy the deck with 4 Bauble, 4 Wraith. They take the Moonshadow. Did they mulligan? Yeah, they also mulliganed here. Alright, I think I'm just going to Surveil and pass with Spell Pierce up for Teferi. Not that, I mean, although if they had Teferi, they would have taken the Pierce. They could draw it, I guess. And they keep a card on top. Yeah, we did have a Dimir flow state deck with Shadow. It's just different. I mean, you could go and look at it instead of asking me to recall, maybe, because I don't really recall. I think I was playing Preordain. Not a very exciting match, but I mean, winning that game 1 was exciting. I boarded out a Fatal Push, right? I'm pretty sure I boarded 1 out. Yeah, you know what? I think I should be playing 0 push, maybe in 2 edicts on the play, probably. Draw some Psychic Frogs, please. As a Boros Energy player, I'm having trouble beating the Boros Land Destruction deck. Would it be able to recommend some good Options the answer. I have seen Sacred Ground. I'm not convinced that's where I want to be. So you have some options, right? Number one, if you want the most effective sideboard card, it might be Sacred Ground. It might be kind of a trap. I'm not sure. I tried it once and never drew it or never played the matchup. The easiest answer though is like just your Boros Synergy. You can play 6 basics. It's like you can play 6 basics. You can play more Legend of Roku. That card should be good against them. But you know, adding more basics does add a lot of equity for you. Am I gonna cycle the Spellbomb? Seems a little bit foolish. Boy, is this game gonna be long though. That's true. They have the Wraths. That's true. So like maybe they're not a good plan. But I like adding more basics is totally doable. You could play up to 6 basics in Boros and be totally fine. And like you're gonna have a very functional mana base still. Let's go! They drew Psychic Frog. My one regret is they can't fight over this Fatal Push. They have Force of Negation? They do. Wait, you have a second frog in your hand? And they've been holding the frogs this whole time? Oh, they Thoughtseize me, right? They saw the 2 pushes. Okay. I guess I'm gonna take Ephemerate. That's a beatable hand if I've ever seen one. Now my opponent does have 2 Riddlers in the Warp Zone. What a fucking card, huh? Just need them to not draw lands or good spells. All right, they didn't draw a land. I'm only playing 2 Surveils, right? Yeah. I want to keep this for Moonshadow. Uh-oh, they drew a land. I do think our sideboard plan is going to be different for game 3 if my opponent just rips land number 5 here. So there's no Teamer Battle Rage. I mean, the Dress Down and the Wasp are kind of our Teamer Battle Rages. I think with these new Frog decks, we should keep 2 Riddlers in the test. We want the full 4-0. I guess I'm just not as thirsty for Quantum Riddler as y'all are. I've tested Quantum Riddler a ton, and I think it's not often the best option in these kind of Dimir decks. They're usually fine. I think it's like straight up awful with Moonshadow, Death Shadow. I feel like something happens to your brain when you play 30 minutes against a slow, grindy matchup that revolves around your opponent's Quantum Riddler. You get really, really thirsty for your own Quantum Riddlers. I get it. But let's stay focused, brothers. So I can now Spellbomb myself because of Drown in the Loch. I have double snare though. Okay, let's go ahead and cycle the Dress Down, deny the card. Why not? Okay, we're getting the ball rolling again. Okay, so I guess my plan is going to revolve around Wasp being my own shadow. Now remember, you have to attack first because Wasp taps it. I guess it just taps. I guess I could go end of turn maybe. Doesn't stun counter. So they play the frog. We're gonna obviously try to use a fatal push on that. I know my opponent has 2 Gorios and a Force of Negation as 3 of their unknown cards. So maybe they've drawn like an Atraxa in my hand. Obviously doesn't mind that so much. Opponent maybe didn't learn their lesson. Are we just gonna like both of these games seemed so unwinnable, but all of a sudden we're just like gonna win anyways. Having Frog alone means you have synergy. Frog and Riddle. I don't know. This is like the 5th time today I've talked about Frog Riddler synergy, but it's good. It's not like it doesn't mean it's a must play. Like if you're a blue Ephemerate deck, it's really hard not to play it. All right, don't see much reason not to untap. They responded so fast to this Wasp, it's kind of crazy. Do they know how this works? How could they know how this works? They didn't know how Death Shadow worked game 1. Maybe thought I was going to target the Riddler. No Solitude. We know their hand is Goryo's mystery card, so it's okay if they have a Solitude, I guess. They say GG? Okay, GG. Why not second snare and cut a pierce? Because you just want to keep one of each, right? And I was able to pierce the force. Oh, so you wanted to snare the ending? I guess that's better. You're right, you're right. Okay, let's keep this. Hopefully faster matchup. Might be flipping Tamiyo turn 2 with the Wraith. I guess we could YOLO second Wraith, try to flip it turn 1. Probably not a good idea. Is Wasp any good against Titan? I guess if they go Titan and they go like Hanor Battleman's Hasteland and you just Wasp it, that's probably okay. Can kill a Construct token too. It can lock down some of their sideboard stuff like Talos Tracker and 6 as well. I would probably leave him in. I guess I should have had this hand hider up against an opponent taking this long on their mulligan decision. Okay, I'm gonna go Fetch Shock. Tamiyo. My opponent did keep 7. Wasp can kill Colossus. It can kill Colossus, but they still get the ETB trigger. So they go Fetch Shock Fountain. Portable Hole. So maybe playing a Loki build. They play Mox. Interesting. They play another Mox. They play a Tamiyo. So we go down to 15. Okay, I think I'm gonna kill the Tamiyo. Like, I mean, I've been playing a lot of these decks, and when they kill your Tamiyo, the Emery is just so tough. And then next turn we can go Shadow plus Wasp. Yeah, it could be the camera combo deck. Good point. With Loki, I haven't actually seen it laid out or in action. Thopter Foundry. Let me look at their top card. It's an Urza. Is there any world where I'm wasping Urza? I don't think so. I think I'm just gonna play around counter magic here. They may have. So I'm thinking about sacking a Mox to the Thopter Foundry, which means they don't have a 4th land in their hand. I draw a second Wasp, which is a little weird. Their hand is Urza, 2 mystery cards. They go to combat. Then they have a little think. Then they pass the turn. Okay, so we're going to play Moonshadow. Then I'm going to Surveil. I'm not going to have time for this Thoughtseize, I guess. I suppose I'm going to be using the Wondrous Wasp to kill the Construct here, so we'll just attack for 13. Let them chump block. They do not chump block. They take 13 instead of blocking, which is interesting. I guess, yeah, so we'll just go ahead and play new Wasp, keep the old one, and then we also get to grow the Moonshadow by 1. We still get to get the trigger here to kill the Construct. Oh. Learning our lesson here. I guess I kind of thought that there would be a moment where it lost its abilities and it just died. Why didn't I swing with Wasp? Well, if they have a 1/1 flyer to block my 2/1 flyer, and I don't want that to happen. They can make another one. And I knew I could play. So my plan was to just kill the construct here. But I guess maybe I should have just traded the wasp for the Thopter token and then remade a 13/13 here. Shouldn't the construct be dead? The problem is that the wasp needs to still be in play, I guess. Bummer. Good to know. Kind of weird, right? Yeah, I thought because the trigger still happened, it would still die. They're making another construct? Okay, interesting they're doing this instead of just going float a mana, get another Mox Opal, and cast the Urza that we saw off the Bauble. The Urza would also make a construct, but then it'll give them a bunch more mana too. And now it's gonna be hard to ever cast the Urza because they're gonna lose the Saga. And they get okay. I would think that they would not get an Opal if they're gonna tap the construct here, but now they got Opal. They just have a portable hole. Yeah, they just have a portable hole. So maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe you can't win anyways. Maybe you can do some stuff with the Moonshadow. I do have Dress Down in my deck. I could top deck Dress Down. Do I want to chump block? No, I don't think so. I think I'm happy to draw a Death Shadow. So I'm at 3. They have Urza as their only card in their hand that's not castable. I draw Spell Pierce. Bummer. Okay. So maybe a winnable game without the Wasp puns. Not sure. I'm going to bring in definitely all 3 explosives. I think they play all the 0-mana artifacts. They're probably fine. They're probably fine. I want to keep in the Dress Downs. I want to keep in the Wasps. I think the snares countering Thopter Foundry seem okay. Probably not that interested overall. I'm going to go down 1 copy of Drown, 1 copy of Cling to Dust, probably 2 of my own Mishra's Baubles when I bring in 2 Vexing Baubles. Tension's not really that big of a deal though. I think I like these 1-mana counter spells a lot. I guess we could maybe just cut the last Cling. Just try to be really aggressive in this matchup. That's probably the plan. And then, we still have Tamiyo and explosives for some card advantage. Do you have an opinion how good Thopter Sword is these days? I've always liked the combo. I think it's probably pretty bad. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm underrating it, but it's not a good time to be playing it most likely, since there is a lot of affinity hate that you're like weaker to than affinity is. So interested in going end of turn Dress Down to set up a 7/7 Moonshadow, but we'll see what their hand looks like. Seems like they're super weak to me just taking Tamiyo here. I remember when Breach was banned. It seemed like the prevailing opinion was that it was kind of inevitable that another Mox Imri package was going to like take its place. And like it seemed kind of inevitable that there was going to be something like this that was going to be a good modern deck. And nothing has really emerged to make that the case. Now, do I the second Wasp was a pretty bad draw. I guess I'm going to go for the Dress Down. They may tap out for like a Sword of the Meek this turn. So they did draw a land. Okay, nice. Song of Creation, maybe. I mean, yeah, we've played a lot of brews with it. Like it definitely has that brew potential. It's like it's kind of a package that you end up putting in a lot of your decks, but it doesn't end up like ever feeling all that good, I guess. Oh, I drew a second Moonshadow. Speaking of feeling all that good, play 2 7/7 menace creatures, and we know their hand's kind of bad. Yeah, it was before Emissary and Weapons for sure, and so I agree that like once those cards came out, it became a little bit more clear that those were the cards you wanted to play in your artifact decks. So when do I Wasp the Emery? I know that they have a dispute. So I guess if I Wasp the Emery on their upkeep, it doesn't really matter that much because they get the Bauble maybe. So maybe I'd just rather make sure we get the trade off. So their hand right now is Sword of the Meek mystery card and then another mystery card after they draw. I mean, we're probably just going to go to game 3. Okay. We're going to go to game 3. click submit. Be right back. Okay, sorry about that. So we're in game 3. I don't know. The dress downs are good against the Saga tokens. I have push for Imri Tamiyo. We just don't know how good this hand is. I'm gonna keep. If we draw Tamiyo, it's like kind of insane. We get to flip Tamiyo turn 1. Okay, so then they have their own Tamiyo. So I think I'm just gonna push without cycling the Wraiths yet. So I could draw Moonshadow or Tamiyo and save the Wraiths to trigger that. I guess my opponent could Aether Spellbomb. Okay, they do Aether Spellbomb. I just have second push here. And they also maybe don't have another artifact. They have 4 cards in their hand. One of them's a Tamiyo. They need a blue land or an artifact in order for the Opal to make mana. So they play Portable Hole for Metalcraft. I think this is the real problem with these decks, is like they're just so weak to the removal. Okay, so we'll cycle 1 Wraith at least, if not both. Okay, probably we'll cycle both. Cycle all 3. And we do not find second land, but we will go ahead and push Tamiyo again. My opponent has 2 spells. It'd be kind of interesting if we don't draw a land, what 1-drop we do deploy. There's a pretty good chance they have a second Portable Hole. Looks like they have a Thopter Foundry. So if the 1 mystery card is like Sword of the Meek, it's pretty bad, because if I Thoughtseize it just comes back from the graveyard. Land would be ideal. Not a land. I think I should Thoughtseize. Very easy for it to be Portable Hole. So they drew Otawara off the Bauble, and they were holding on to a Mystical Dispute. So now their hand is Otawara, mystery card. Maybe thinking, should they play the Otawara as a land or hold it? They play it as a land. And then they sack Moxamber main phase, and then they play another Moxamber. Okay. Pretty weak stuff. We do need to draw a second land at some point this game. And look, here it is. At some point we found it, and we're even going to have Ferocious up for our Stubborn Denial. So if I attack for 6, I put them. I don't have enough to hit them for 6 and then hit them for 13. They draw a Saga, but we do have Dress Down in our hand to not worry too much about it. Guess I'm gonna not crack the fetch. Maybe Surveilling's fine here though. I guess maybe I just get basics. Sure. They have no cards in their hand. Gonna hit them for 13. But they're gonna have plenty of blockers here. They sacrifice the Portable Hole. They make another Thopter token. Then they're gonna sack the Amber. Okay. So I'm at 8 life. Should be pretty good here. I mean, they're gonna have a lot of chump blockers, but they have to block every single turn. They're gonna sack the Opal. Sacking Opal is a bit weird. Like, I think they'd want to be able to top deck Urza. Oh, they're sacking everything. Okay. So sacking everything. I guess this means we are gonna block with the Wondrous Wasp, so we don't die in 2 turns. I don't know how I didn't even see this line. You're gonna send it with 3? 3 is weird. 4 is also weird. I think I still block. Yeah, because the Shadow will still be a 13. Yeah, I think I still block. Because the Shadow will still be a 13 power creature. After I cast the Dress Down, after they make the construct. So they still have to block with a Thopter token. Okay, they just chomp. That's fine. Then now we can Dress Down both of the constructs, maybe. Interesting they left. Leaving 2 Thopters back is a little too cowardly, I think. You'd be getting in for more damage. do have one more basic I could possibly get. Maybe I was supposed to wait on the dress down until after they chose what to get off the saga. They get a Mox Opal. They're probably always getting that, I guess. So they play a copy of Tamiyo. And they play a Mox. They have no cards in their hand. I'm at 6. They have 3 Thopters. So they could say, I'm going to attack for 3, and then I'm going to chump block your Death Shadow with my Tamiyo. Oh, wait, I missed lethal here. It's fine, it's fine. No, I do have another swamp to fetch. So I could have gone Wasp just down or drown drown Wasp there. Should be fine. Okay, so let's go block here. And then end of turn, fetch the swamp, cast the dress down to grow my Death Shadow by 1 point. Which we need to get it to enough power to kill. Then we kill this. Okay, did you see that? Did you see how they moved after I clicked? Why not stub on the bauble? I guess that also works. I just have stub up on their turn. Like I don't know what they could possibly have that isn't stubbable. Weird game for sure. Okay, it's about 4 hours into the stream, so I think what I'm gonna do is finish the rest of this league tomorrow morning. But before we go, we do have one special treat here. I asked Esther to have the factor boxes ready, and I hear her running downstairs. So just wait 1 moment. We're gonna do the second part of the factor sponsor. Our boxes came in. If you missed it before, the factor is running a nice deal here, where if you type !factor, you can get it. You can head to factor.com or factor75.com by clicking this link. You can use my code Aspiring Spike FFB to get 50% off your first food box, and you get free breakfast for 1 year if you keep the sub, which is a really good deal. If you haven't used Factor before, they are pre-made microwavable meals. Compare this to some other food services that just give you the ingredients and you cook. This is much faster, where you get to microwave everything. And the food came in, and Esther and I are gonna show it off right now. Let's see. So we have a 1-lander. We do have a cycler in Cling to Dust. It's pretty boring. You keep a good amount of 1-landers. I think this is going to be a mulligan for me, though. All right. Going to keep this one. We put back the second Bauble. They're on a multi-6 as well. Let's take a look at our top card. It's a copy of Moonshadow. So I have 8 damage in my hand here. So I could play both shadows next turn. Seems fine. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Storm, historically a pretty good matchup. I like having the Drown in my hand. Drown Thoughtseize plus pressure. Plus disruption. It's a good formula. They also have just a 1-lander. They do keep a card on top. Likely a land. Alright, I'm gonna go play Moonshadow. Oh, sorry. Where did I miscount? Oh, it was 7. It was obviously 7. So I guess we cannot play the Death Shadow this turn. The Watery Grave means we could play it next turn. I'll just fetch Shock end of turn. They cast a Ritual. That's... What? Okay, so... Okay. Then they cast another Ritual. So their hand is... 1 more Ritual and an Impulse. Is that right? Or is I can't remember if I clicked off the first ritual or not, if there's a mystery card or if it's another ritual. They hit a Hex Magic here with only 1 card in their hand, and then they play the Desperate Ritual instead of trying to get any value off the Hex Magic. If they flip the Ral right now, if they flip the Ral, they don't get the ultimate. They're 1 short. They do flip the Ral, though. So if their plan is to go minus on the Moonshadow, I could potentially surveil any permanent into the yard to save my Moonshadow from the Row minus. I think that they saw the storm count was 6, and they weren't counting the Row. So it's a little awkward because this might mean I can't play my Death Shadow next turn. The upside seems so high though. Okay, we got there. So now we've saved our Moonshadow from the Row minus. My opponent has burped their entire hand out, and we just win. Great. So I've been loving sideboard spell snares lately. Snares is really good against Ponza. It's really good against Prowess. It's really good against Storm. It's really good against Gorios. Obviously it's also just a good main deck card, but I've been in sometimes I feel like I just want them in the sideboard too. So I'm gonna bring the snares. I'm gonna bring the Nihil Spellbombs. I'm not a huge Clean Test fan. I think I'll be trimming at least one copy. I think I'll be cutting probably all 3 copies of Wondrous Wasp, although dress down to set a big Moonshadow, Death Shadow still. So I think it's a little bit better. I like it cantrips, you can set it up end of turn. 4 Fatal Push is okay. You could go down 1. We could play 1 Vexing Bauble over Fatal Push number 4, maybe. So it's because you have Drown that can also kill Ral, and then Vexing Bauble stops Ral ultimate. So a lot of times, like Nihil Spellbomb plus Vexing Bauble is pretty hard for them to combo through. So I think it's interesting. We played against Storm many times since MH3 has come out, and almost every single time we play against Storm, someone asks about Consign to Memory. Consign to Memory to counter the Storm trigger is not good. It is very, very trivial for them to flash back Grapeshot like 3 or 4 times over the course of a turn. Holding up Consign is not going to win you the game for their Storm trigger. Occasionally, they'll wish for something like Stormscale Scion or Empty the Warrens or Galvanic Relay. It's not very often it happens, but when it does happen, you consign that. That's good. Consigning Grapeshot is not good. Consign does counter Ruby Medallion, but we also have Thoughtseize plus this many 1-mana, 7 1-mana blue spells that counter it also, so I don't think you really need Consign. Sometimes you bring it in. Yeah, Vexing Bauble stops Ral Ultimate. So it's kind of like a proactive answer to Ral, and so, sometimes an issue with Ral is they can. I guess we have to keep this. Sometimes an issue with Ral is they can play it, and they can play instant speed cards to flip it in response to Fatal Push. But if you have Vexing Bauble, it's a little bit more difficult for them to get around. Don't you consign Ruby and Talent? Well, Consign can't counter Talent, but you can consign Ruby. I did say that already, but yes, you can consign Ruby Medallion. Okay, let's keep this Thoughtseize on top. Do I want to Thoughtseize right now? I think yes. We're a little bit weak to Ral. Okay. Let's take the Hex Magic. The Hex Magic's like just pretty good for them to tap out on turn 3. It's probably like why they kept the hand. How easy for Storm to beat Weather Storm? Very, very easy. Trivial even. They've top decked a Ruby Medallion, which is like the worst case scenario for us. So their hand is Wooded Foothills, Reckless Impulse, Mana Morphos, and Wish. Let's go ahead and Thoughtseize the Reckless Impulse. Am I like always gonna Spell Pierce this turn? I think I'm not always gonna Spell Pierce this turn, so let me have the ability to Surveil. So I can't Spell Pierce this effectively. They hit a Row and they hit a Desperate Ritual. So they play the Row. Their hand is, they have the Ritual. Okay, so they're going to cast the Ritual. This is going to give them 3 mana. The Wish will cost 1, so they'll have 3 mana floating after they cast Wish. This is not enough. I guess let's see if they flip the Row. This is not enough for them to wait. This is not enough for them to I guess they're gonna like Galvanic Relay a lot of the time. I think I should Spell Pierce this. Galvanic Relay I don't think I can beat. Sorry, is their hand not Wooded Foothills? Oh no, they played the Wooded Foothills. Oh, fuck. I didn't click the Wooded Foothills off. Okay, so they're gonna pay 3. Or sorry, they're gonna pay 2. This is crazy to die on turn 3 through double Thoughtseize Spell Pierce. Yeah, we're just dead. Sometimes they burp their whole hand out, and there's not a lot you can do, I guess. And sometimes they win on turn 3 through double Thoughtseize Spell Pierce. Brutal. Got to get to be on the plate for game 3. Greedy for not playing Bauble. The Bauble didn't matter. The Bauble didn't matter. So we have this hand. It's hard to mulligan. Also, we have pressure. We have Thoughtseize. We have counter magic. We don't have a second land. I think I should mulligan this. Let's keep this one. I think I'm gonna put back the Fatal Push because if they have Ral, I can just commit to taking it with Thoughtseize. And I do think I want to lead on the Thoughtseize. Why not Pierce the Metamorphose? I was hoping to be able to spell Pierce the Wish, spell Pierce Hex Magic. You know, it seemed incredibly unlikely that they were going to be able to combo me there. I think it seemed maybe a little cowardly. Maybe being a little cowardly would have paid off. Spike, do you think the Caligorio's deck is worth working on, or is Esper just clearly better? They're honestly pretty different decks. One thing is like the Mardu deck is like the big strength of that is that you're able to combo kill on turn. Let's see, interesting. So I'm gonna go for the Metamorphose now. Am I afraid of Hex? I guess I don't think I'm that afraid of Hex Magic. Also they top decked the Ral after I bought him the Fatal Push. I think I'm gonna spell Pierce this time. Okay, their hand is Hex Magic and Arid Mesa. I guess I am gonna Surveil. I'm gonna keep that on top, and then if I need to Stubborn Denial, I could crack the Spellbomb without drawing a card. Thoughtseize is bad now. Too many higher power cards for it to work well. Thoughtseize is not a bad card, but it is it's not. I think Thoughtseize is just good. I played a ton of Thoughtseize decks. The card Thoughtseize is a good card. We're probably gonna win this match with 4 Thoughtseize in our main deck. I don't know. I'm not a Thoughtseize hater. I think I am gonna be a little bit more proactive here with this Nihil Spellbomb. Get my Moonshadow up to 4/4. Interesting they attack into the Death Shadow deck. Attack for 4, put them down to 9. They put a Wooded Foothills in their graveyard. In fact, I'd even say the Thoughtseize was very good this game. They attack me again. I'm down to 10. I have a 2-turn clock. Dealing now 7 damage instead of 6, or sorry, instead of 5 is really big deal. Since with a Ral in play, they are just a coin flip away from dying. Although they can flip Ral at the first coin flip if they win it. So we drew Street Wraith. If we drawn those in the other order, we would have won. Let me go ahead and cycle. I guess, okay, let's just see if we win the game right here. Flip a coin to win the game. Okay, we do not win the flip. And they flip the Ral. I don't think that there's almost any reason not to Spell Pierce this. Okay, so we're 3-0. Let's get a trophy prediction going. Okay. I really dislike having this island, but I like having Dressed Down with multiple Moonshadows. What's the idea behind Tamiyo and Blue-Black Shadow? Tamiyo's just kind of... It's like you want some amount of card advantage, right? And I think Tamiyo's the best. It has the lowest on the mana curve. And with 4 Street Wraith, 4 Bauble, she flips really easily. And I think she's the best card advantage source you can play. You can play Flow State, but it's a little bit difficult to include. Also, like more difficult once we're adding the Wasp tech. What's my opponent last seen playing? Guess not anything. I'm gonna go and put this in the graveyard. We need to draw some black mana. No way! Let's go! My opponent played Urborg, and I'm dying to draw black mana. Let's go. Okay, then they play Urza Saga, so this is like a Black K command deck. They play another Goyf. So one more land would be nice to just go 777 here. Although maybe I would just hold up Spell Pierce if I do the third land. I think we just play 777. Just that the Goyf becomes an 0-1. Not a bad turn 3. 21 Menace Power. It's like I'm back. They cycle troll. It's like I'm back in Vegas. 777. Don't gamble. Okay, they took up the Urza Saga. They play Overgrown Tomb untapped. Interesting. They Impending Overlord of the Baelmerk. Is Mac in the chat? I see you saying, oh shit, I'm rooting for the opponent. Mac is always playing these Golgari, Goyf, Moonshadow, Saga decks. Obviously, we have the nuts. It's not, not the best comparison. So they can double block a Goyf and kill one of them, and I can only kill one of their two things. But then they take 14. But I could Cling to Dust the Overlord of the Nihil Spellbomb against Nihil Spellbomb, so we draw a card, and then all of a sudden the double block doesn't work. Might as well do this main phase. They have to double block anyways. It's not like they can play around anything. Okay, great. And then we just draw the Wondrous Wasp for lethal with counter magic up. Fatal Push. This is like the best. It's hilarious how well my draws lined up against theirs. Particularly because the Urborg was the only way I was able to play all three Moonshadows on turn 3. Hilarious. Okay, Mac, how should I sideboard? I mean, there's an Urza Saga deck with a ton of 1-drops. Maybe I want to be playing Engineered Explosives. Nihil Spellbomb against the Goyf deck seems good. I want to keep in the dress downs against the Saga deck, of course. The Wasps seem very good as well. I don't know if I want to play 4. I don't think I want to play snares. Expect Witherbloom Charm. So snare counters Witherbloom Charm. It counters Bowmaster if they have it. It counters Hexmage. Does not counter Impending Overlord, which I don't really like. The Nihil Spellbombs have some tension with these drowns. I think I'll trim 1. I may just cut the Thoughtseizes in this matchup. I kind of like the look of this. The Edicts may also be good. Maybe Edict is better than Drown with the Nihil Spellbombs in. Good. I'm gonna try that. Maybe there's too many explosives. I think it's probably one too many. Put 1 Thoughtseize? First Thoughtseize is probably kind of nice. It's good against Overlord. Let's do 1. Could do 1 Drown also. We'll play 1 Thoughtseize. Lower curve on the draw. So this is a matchup where it's very difficult to mulligan, but this hand sucks, so I think we probably just have to. Hand looking a lot better. I think I'm going to put back the second Bauble. Burning Catacombs. Will I play Namor today? I don't think it's necessarily on the docket. I don't have we spent the last 2 days playing it. Okay, I'm gonna surveil on turn 1. If I see Moonshadow on top, I'm just chilling. I guess I'm just chilling anyways. Okay. Commence the chill. Well, maybe I'll cycle the Bauble. Do a main phase because of Bowmaster. Could slow down because of discard. Okay, so I have a Spell Pierce to maybe protect my Death Shadow from this Fatal Push. We have a Wasp to maybe kill the first Saga token. I can pay 7 life down to 12, so I can play Death Shadow. Now I can grow the Death Shadow maybe in combat and block the Goyf. Okay, so I guess we'll cycle in response. Too bad that I couldn't flip the Tamiyo. I guess into the Bowmaster. It's a little bit tough. So I draw another copy of Moonshadow. So I think I want to do this. I want to play Tamiyo and Moonshadow. I want to save the... I know they have Fatal Push, so I don't want to deploy when they can pay for Pierce. If I can get them to push the Tamiyo, that's great. Although they may not want to because of the Bowmasters. Wasp makes Shadow Vanilla 13/13. That's correct, yeah. So it's a little bit unclear if I'm trying to set up for that, because my Shadow's going to be pretty big anyways, and Wasp also kills a Saga token. Can also shut down like a Moonshadow. So they just push 2 mystery cards. If they push the Goyf Rose to 2/3. So they push the Moonshadow. They're gonna get in for 3. I may need to wasp the Moonshadow. Oh my gosh, they cycle Troll. With Saga up, I didn't think they could have anything. I guess I just should have blocked the Orc anyways, right? There wasn't much reason not to. Yeah, so this is gonna be a tough one with them having Fatal Push. Maybe I just don't even do anything. I don't think I can really play the Shadow. You know what? I think I'm just dead. Let's go to game 3 because we know about the push. Tough game. Game 3 on the play. I think I like how we sideboarded. I think, maybe if I block the token instead, then maybe we have a chance. There's too much burn at the average tournament for me to play these, which being said, wait, there's burn in tournaments right now? I feel like burn. I've seen it was like a little bit post ban. I've seen very little of it since then. I do think that someone said they trophied with our Chandra's Incinerator build. I do think the Incinerator like arena builds have that kind of nut draw potential to get them, but why couldn't you play Shadow and Wasp be alive one more time? We knew they had a Fatal Push in their hand, and I wouldn't be able to Spell Pierce it. Okay, on the play. Are we mulliganing again? Yeah, it's a tough matchup to mulligan in, as we saw last game. I think this hand's actually fine. We have the Wasp Death Shadow combo. We're gonna probably hit our second land. Let me take a look. So we have a Street Wraith on top. I guess that's a fine draw. They Thoughtseize will probably stub. Maybe Pierce. Okay. So I'm gonna cycle this now. If we draw a land, I may try to get a shock, and then we didn't draw a land, so we'll surveil. Okay, found the land. So a Death Shadow is not quite castable this turn. They play a Saga, so maybe we will get to dress down both Saga chapters. As it stands, I think we just untap. So this puts me down to 15. So why don't we play Death Shadow this turn? Very good draw. And then if they Bowmaster my Shadow, I guess I'll just Wasp it to turn it into a 13/13, and then if they kill it from there, they kill it from there. Otherwise, I could Spell Pierce a push right now. Okay, so we'll let them target the Shadow. And then we'll go the Wondrous Wasp. They take up the Saga to 2, 7 cards in their hand. Plays the Urborg. So they Fatal Push the Wasp. Do they have another Bowmaster? That would be pretty tough. They Witherbloom Charm to kill the Shadow. Okay. So not in great shape. Down to 10. We draw a copy of Explosives. We just pass here. So I think I'd like to play the dress down end of turn, so if I draw a Moonshadow, it becomes a 7/7. Also, if I play it now and they have their own Moonshadow, it's pretty bad. Looking for 1, okay. I boarded out my drowns. I think I just want to trade my Spell Pierce for anything here, because it's like this game is going kind of long. Now they don't get to draw a card off the Bowmaster because it'll have no abilities. So we're looking for a Moonshadow or a Death Shadow more than anything. I suppose we should cycle this while their Bowmaster is dressed down. Then I guess what we'll do is we'll try to push the Bowmaster, and so we can cycle our Bauble a bit more comfortably. No, the spell it's hard to include flow state with the Wasp tech. Just not enough enablers. Would love if they played multiple 1-drops, obviously, and there's a chance they have got some. They have 5 cards in their hand. Their deck is full of 1-drops. One of their 5 cards is a Surveil land. They keep a card on top. Then they play a copy of Vampire Hexmage. Interesting. Now I'm pretty incentivized to explosives X equals 2. I have to do it all at once, otherwise they can Hexmage the explosives counters. I think I'm just going to push the Bowmaster. I don't think I have the mana leverage here. Any room for a single Abigail? Well, Death Shadow is doing what Abigail's doing, but better. It's kind of the idea, right? So if I play this, they're gonna end the hunted, I guess. Probably just kind of have to make that trade. I might also be able to trade Stub for a Fatal Push right now, which is just kind of what you're gonna do anyways. We'll probably end up needing to push the Hexmage this turn. They play a Swamp, so their hand is in the hunt, 2 mystery cards. Okay, they end the hunt here. They easily can have more removal. They Swamp Cycle with 5 lands in play when they've already played a land, right? Or have they already played a land? They get an Overgrown Tomb. That's very odd. Maybe they just have another one. I don't know why they would do that main phase either. Could take at least 1 more damage. Cecil over Tamiyo. I've been liking the Tamiyos. I don't know. I think it's you have no card advantage without the Tamiyos. At 17 still. They play a Trawler. So they has Overgrown 2 mystery card. They play the Tomb. I think I probably need to run out the Wasp so I can trade for the Trawler. With the Urborg out there, maybe I don't need to fear my life total getting too low. Maybe they don't have second Troll. This must have been their draw for turn. They look at my top card. I'll be surveilling. I guess that kills us. Yeah. Okay, makes sense on the Swamp Cycle. Tough to play around. I didn't see one. 3 and 1. Bummer. I'm gonna mulligan. I think we should go keep Thoughtseize into Thoughtseize Tamiyo. To Door with the Twitch Prime, thank you. Not the kind of hand you want to see when you mulligan, although they kept this. This is a 1-lander. Do I need to take this Thoughtseize? I don't know that I need to. I think maybe I need to take this Riddler. I think the Riddler is just the hardest card to beat here. The Felly is not doing much without it. they have ephemerate for it also. So we're gonna send the text. Okay. So they are gonna plan to surveil instead of Thoughtseize because they didn't draw a land. No. A lot of blink this week, more than I would have expected. Interesting that they get Watery Grave instead of Godless Shrine. Maybe they did draw a land. Because I took the only blue card. Doesn't really make that much sense. They take the Tamiyo. I guess we're about to find out. They did draw a land, lucky. And Juliet with the 44 months. Thank you, welcome back. So they play the Marsh Flats. Guess it's fine. That's nuts. We know they don't have any Fatal Pushable cards in their hand. Maybe they just top decked it on their Felia. They fetched down to 14. We played this matchup yesterday, and the game felt like this, and we won. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. They keep a card on top. We draw a card off the bauble. It's a really good one, and Cling to Dust. And they find a probably better one in the Overlord. Honestly, don't know how they're keeping this hand. Whatever. They grab Quantum Riddler back, and then they play their Surveillance so they can set up for Riddler plus Ephemerate. If they don't find a land, we can stub the Ephemerate. Can cycle the Cling. Find a Wasp. Okay. That basic swamp is tough. I think if they draw the land to pay for the stub, we'll probably just go to game 2. All right. Okay. So I want the Edicts. I think I want the Baubles. The Solitudes are definitely a headache. I think the Dress Downs and the Wasps are good, or maybe good enough. Maybe I want to go down 1 Wasp. I just really don't want to be drawing 2 copies early. Maybe Snare is better than Fatal Push. Push, I guess Push is better. Dealing out with Felia and Emperor after they resolve. I'm going to keep in both Clings. The Drowns are pretty good against the Overlords. They're not super good early, but they also just kind of stop like Riddler from resolving usually. We can go down at least 2 Baubles when we bring in the Vexing Baubles. I guess I probably want to be going down actually on Spell Pierce pretty hard. Card's just not very good against them. Maybe I play 1, maybe I play 0. Just gonna play 0. Can play 2 stubs still. Yeah, let's do this. Crispy with the 47. Thank you. Welcome back. Hard matchup to mulligan in, and we have a Moonshadow that's getting pretty big pretty quick. Let's keep. Snare seems good. Well, we have 4 Fatal Push, right? Those 4 Fatal Push are dealing with Emperor Bones and Felia, end of list. Those also the only things that Spell Snare deals with, so I think it's difficult to play. Is Consigning Felia return everything? It's much worse against Esper builds, where if they could see that you have Consign in your hand off Thoughtseize, they just never play into it and you have to hold it up the whole game and you lose. Lost a lot of games just boarding and Consign against them and they see it in my hand off of Thoughtseize. How big of a game plan is Waspy Moonshadow? It was a big part of the game plan yesterday. Looks like they have a push. Bummer. Definitely a tough matchup. We did win it yesterday, or maybe was it? Sometimes I'll play against. Sometimes I'll play against Esper Blink or Esper Gorios, and I think it's Blink and vice versa. The decks are just so similar. Might get some value off the Cling to Dust we surveilled. The top card is a Plains Overlord, I guess. Return Bezia. I don't even know what that card does. I know it's like if you have less stuff than your opponents, you get to do stuff. I don't even exactly know what it is. Probably gain, like, I think it's gain 4 life if your opponent has more life than you. You get 2 1/1s if your opponent has more creatures, and you draw a card if your opponent has more cards than you. Wondering for a long time if there's an Abigail Death Shadows list with Necro. Only problem is you can't play the Black Graveyard threats. It's interesting. I guess I gotta drown this. This matchup is just so miserable. Save me, Cling to Dust. Don't think I'm supposed to play the Death Shadow on the turn where they can Bezia and get some tokens. I guess we'd have the same number of creatures. Yeah, maybe it was fine to play it. So I'm gonna let them target my Cling, and I'm just gonna Cling in response. Or if they target the Overlord, I guess I'll Edict them. Target my Wraith? I think I'm playing both. We have the Vexing Bauble in play to stop Evoke Solitude. If they have land plus Hardcast Solitude as 2 of their unknown 5s, it's gonna be tough to win. Anyways, like even if they have that and we just play 1 Death Shadow, it's not like we're gonna win this game. Hear me out. Storm Herald plus Conscription plus Super Soldier Serum. So I mean, the Super Soldier Serum is doing what? Just being like a 2 mana +2/+2 first strike. I guess I don't see the. Am I missing something? So I guess if I Edict them, they get to Bezia, but I mean, obviously I'm gonna cast the Edict. Yeah, they only get the tokens. Only. Probably will just sack end of turn. We need to be applying pressure. I might need to like Desperation Cling as well. If their last 2 cards are Solitude, white card, I also don't think we could win. They also would have hardcast Solitude this turn if they had it. Okay, so let me see. Does what they're drawing matter very much? Does what I'm drawing matter very much? I guess what they draw matters a little bit more. A Flicker Wisp. Okay. So I guess instead of attacking right now, what we want to do is Cling to Dust to draw a card. If we can find a way to pay life, like a Fetch Land or a Street Wraith, then we can attack. Otherwise, we probably have to chill and then Dress Down. Oh, we drew Drown in the Loch. So maybe what we'll do is Dress Down the Wisp and then Drown in the Loch the Overlord. I mean, I could work with this. Then Edict is not too bad either. Although I guess it only sacks the Wisp. So I could... Wait, they're attacking? No. Wait, so they drew Solitude? Wait, how is Solitude in their hand? My opponent did not cast Solitude last turn. They could have Solitude and got rid of both of my shadows. We know they just do Flicker Wisp. How do they have Solitude? I don't know. I mean, I think we can play around it, so I think we should. So I think we... Do I care about making them sack? Maybe they might jump with the Bezia. Okay, I'm going to play my land. I'm going to attack. Yeah, when you exile one Shadow of Solitude, you gain enough life that the other one dies. So they block with both. So I go Crack Fetch, Shock down to 6. They cast Solitude. I cast Dress Down in response. I cast Dress Down in response. I use Drown in the Loch to kill the Overlord. I don't know if I love that, but I do feel like I want to use the Dress Down to counter the Solitude ETB here. I guess I don't need the Shock. I could Surveil maybe. Yeah, I guess I could Surveil. Fatal Push. So not Solitude. How? So what is there? Why did they not cast Flicker Wisp? How? What? Why did they not? I don't know. I think I need to counter this. I believe I can Surveil pretty comfortably. Ephemerate. So let's go make you sacrifice a non-token creature now. So either they have to sacrifice the Bezia. They also could have cast Flicker Wisp here. I don't understand how they didn't have just not casting Flicker Wisp this turn. No, we know their last card is Flicker Wisp. Okay, and then they just let this happen, which does not play into my Dress Down very well. Oh, I don't have. Oh, I'm out of Surveils, of course. I didn't know I was out of Watery Graves though. Last one's in exile. So we let them go to combat. Their hand is Wisp Mystery card. They go to combat. I'm going to cast the Dress Down. So they won't get anything back with Overlord, and they won't be able to do anything with the Wisp. Fighting for my life over here. No attacks. They Prismatic Ending one Death Shadow instead of Prismatic Ending the Dress Down and flickering the Overlord and attacking. I don't know if that's better. And they cast the Wisp, won't enter, or I mean enters, it doesn't trigger. Dress Down goes to the yard. We have enough to escape a Cling if we need to. Might as well. Wait, should I? Could they have? Yeah, I mean, I think I need to draw a card here. The Bezia is a little annoying. Doesn't really trigger on anything though. I have less. Well, I guess they'll have more cards. Okay, so this can make my Death Shadow a 7/7. So I go cast Death Shadow 7/7. They chump block here. Then I play my Moonshadow, chump block the Overlord. I only have to chump if they attack with both though. I mean, I think I got to. They may also double block or with the Overlord Wisp. Don't even consider it. Sure. Cast Moonshadow. I hope. I guess. That's probably the best thing that could have happened was they draw this. Don't think they can ever not activate here. And I need them to spend the mana because the Overlord trigger. Fighting for our lives this game. Alpha with the 3 months. Long live Aurora Boroid. Long live Aurora Boroid. So they attack with just Overlord. We, I guess, need to take this and have them dead if we top deck Drown. They return Solitude. That's their only card. So I go to 1. Now my Shadow's a 12/12. I guess Wasp is lethal. Drown is lethal. Sheoldred's Edict like makes them sack the Overlord. Moonshadow. So we attack with both. They chump block the Wisp. I think we're going to lose. They chump block with Wisp. They go to 9. I play Moonshadow, and they go attack, force me to chump block. Then they Solitude. I gain 12, and I don't know that I'm going to be able to win. Attack with both is dead on board, I believe. Oh, yeah, they can just Solitude the Moonshadow, sure. Okay. 3-0 to 3-2. Not that we had any outs, I think. Maybe like Wasp into something. Very tough game. Bummer. Okay, I built a really busted looking deck. Hold on. Should I spend time selecting the arts? So.